Alrighty then, it's time for a Zack game, and as you all know, he's one of my favorite champions in the game. And this one is a discussion piece because it's his first video for Season 6. And I gotta say, before we start, is that this game was played at the start full on tilt, because prior to this game we had nothing but losses. So they finally asked me, Stonewall, stop playing Jungle Yorick and just play something serious. So I decided to bust out one of my favorite and best champions, Zack. And now, just get ready. This is the nightmare we all hate. You know, normally I would take the red buff to the bush, but I decided, screw it. Trundle wouldn't invade me level 2. Of course, then, that means Trundle invades me at level 2, takes my red, and then beats me to death. And what makes matters even worse, despite my teammates collapsing on him, they're not able to really punish him. So I get finished off, and he just flashes away and makes it out alive. Really bad start to team morale, considering we were already on full tilt. Anyways, runes are Magic Pen Red, Armor Yellow, Cooler Reduction Blues with some magic resistance mixed in, Movement Speed Quints, and my masteries are 10, 0, 18. Now, as far as Zack goes, he's doing pretty damn well in the Season 6 jungle. He's not number 1 or even top 10, but when you consider all the other tank champions, he's pretty much in the top 3. The thing is, he's always been like jungling's A student. Malphite's like a B student, but he's a very right now he's crushing AD carries, so I'm kind of ignoring him. Zack is like the A student. He does everything right, but he's got flaws here and there. Like, keep him from getting that little plus there. So for those who don't use the American grading system, he's basically an 8 and 9 student, right? He gets 8 and 9s out of 10, and he's got some benefits that other jungler tanks don't have. So he does this like extracurricular stuff, like he's part of the Red Cross to help out needy kids, and he gets extra credit that way. Other way, so he's got his super sustain, he's got no mana or whatever, and he's able to pull off some really killer early ganks. His problem though is that he's just kind of a slow jungler. I don't mean clearing or anything. It's that he's slow to act. The telegraphing on his E is pretty restrictive. His ultimate, kind of relying on that thing, makes it slow by proxy, and he's mostly just sustaining damage, right? He's relying mostly on just whittling someone down and just slowly killing them. So he's slow in that aspect. So in early phase in early meta kind of situations, what's valued the most is being able just to dunk someone quickly, because you don't want them to retaliate, because you're pretty much just as fragile as they are. So he's got that little weakness. Still though, his ability to just sort of show up if they don't see it coming and just start a very explosive fight is immense. And that's what you're going to be seeing during this fight. A lot of the times when I show up, the enemy team isn't expecting it, and all chaos will break through. All chaos will commence. As far as that goes, again, I would say he's still one of the better junglers you could learn to play, because he's got a lot of flexibility. His kit is very fluid. Ha ha ha! Just one nice joke, and he's just kind of very fun. I actually just think he's a fun champion to play. Not some people might not like it because again he doesn't really have that killing potential, because he doesn't have that oomph to kill people. But he's got a lot of let's just say again. The haha joke. Very fluid kid. You can maneuver so well with him in a small skirmish as long as you've got all the bearings of the field. Like here you saw me, I was able just to move around and still be effective because he controls a lot of space in front of him. You can go in with melee, you can back out because you got your Q to poke at somebody. You can move out of the way and then re-engage with E because it just slingshots you back in, and your ultimate, once you get it, it's really groovy. You basically get to bounce around and decide where you end up in a fight. Sorry, gotta clear my throat for a second. So yeah, that's like one of his best benefits, and it's kind of one thing you gotta learn. You gotta learn how to move. You gotta learn how to dance as Zack. I know that sounds silly, but you're gonna see that happen once I get my ultimate in the next coming team fights. Right here, in fact. Just watch what happens. We're unable to steal the dragon, and as a result, Lux has put herself in danger, and the enemy team catches her. So I'm just I thought she was gonna die, but holy shit, Soraka's able to keep her alive. So I'm waiting for my chance to slingshot in there. This is risky, but I expect my teammates to pretty much turn around. Slam in, use my ultimate. Well, punch him, use my ultimate. It disrupts their flow. I bounce all the way towards Caitlyn, and as soon as I see Nar come down, I move my way towards bottom, towards my teammates. My passive will keep me alive long enough for them to at least, mount up a counterattack, because they can't focus me down during that because it's very dangerous. Sadly, they kind of do, and it gets a lot of them killed. Trundle falls, Caitlyn falls, and then we kill the Gnar, and then we pretty much give chase. Veigar's not going to be able to make it out alive because the Hecarim's already on him, and for whatever reason, Xerath decided to go next to him, which means we're able to get a 2-for-1. Xerath could have probably done better just trying to run away from Veigar to split up my team. Unfortunately, him going with his teammate kind of got us all to focus on both of them, so we pretty much aced them right there. And it's the combination of Zac being able to engage from a distance and cause chaos, and if he has his passive, pretty much distract the enemy team, because if they focus me down, then I don't die anyway. So they can't finish me off because, again, focusing on my blobs is exactly what Zac wants them to do. And if they ignore me, then I'm just going to stick on somebody and piss the hell out of disrupt them. So yes. As far as in comparison to everybody else, or how effective Zac would be to pick in anything, I don't think he'd be like someone you would rush to pick, because right now there's obviously some very, very dangerous champions like Trundle, Rammus, and Mundo. But he's someone you could pick and not feel bad. His flexibility is really valuable right now in a faster meta. You could do pretty much anything you want, or from a tank. As Zac, you want to emphasize initiation, and you gravitate towards initiation. You want to, you might not be the best bodyguard, but you can alter yourself to be a bodyguard. You can go damages at him if you need to, and that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm actually building towards Dead Man's Plate, so I can give myself a little bit of more explosive punch, because the enemy team, their front line is pretty brutal. Gnar and Trundle and Veigar's little stun thing is going to keep us from... it's going to fuck up the front line. So I figure maybe I'll be able to dive bomb the Caitlyn from behind and just annihilate her. Sort of like here, it's like if I'm able to surprise them, there's nothing Caitlyn can do. Just the amount of damage I can do if I actually nail her with everything is tremendous. Of course, Vayne blasting away at her is also a huge ass benefit there, but still, you get my point, right? So Dead Man's Play's been pretty damn good on the Zac, although, to be honest, I would still probably prefer the AP build, but the AP build doesn't give you some tankiness in return. Sorry, I gotta clear my throat again. I'm still kind of sick, so you gotta kind of bear with my raspy voice here and there. So still, one of Zac's best traits as a jungler still is also being a really good first pick jungler. I mean, yeah, as a first pick you might want to secure a power pick, but picking Zac first won't really harm you, and there's not really much they can do, although there's not really much they should totally be afraid of. So yeah, he's around 52% win rate, while like having 19 other people in front of him. So he's doing well. He's just not the best, but I still would highly recommend playing him or whatever. For me, he's still probably one of my top junglers, and I'll still play him over a lot of other champions, because just look at this. The second the fight turns around because Lux is able to catch up Veigar, we turn around, Trundle gets nailed by me from all the way over there, and we're able just to pretty much split them in half. Caitlyn gets chased down with the Hecarim, and she has to flash. Trundle gets killed by the Vayne because he's pretty much by himself. We were able to catch the Xerath because he tried running away, and I was able to slingshot myself to him and hit him with my Q. So he gets taken down as well. It's like, that's the beauty of Zac. Just how much space you can control if you're given the chance to. I mean, again, I have to repeat, there is a weakness in that having to, you're becoming mobile as you channel your E, but it's still a very awesome ability to use, and opens up a lot of tactics in the game. Anyways, as you can see, it is pretty stompish. We're just pretty damn good because we were tilted beyond all belief. And I would say, thanks to Trundle, thanks to Zac, I was able to dominate a lot of the situation because I showed up at the right times. I was able to see an opportunity and the enemy blunders in there, and I'm able to kind of like punish them for it. Unfortunately, in this little fight here, I got a little overzealous and went for the Caitlyn, and none of my teammates were responding to it at all, so I just kind of died a very lonely death. Lux responded late, and then she hit a trap, so it didn't matter. So yeah, sadness for me. Nonetheless, though, I gotta explain a little bit about the masteries. I'm still not too sure about what masteries to take on Zac. The defensive masteries are good and all, of course, they're good, they're for tanks. But Bond of Stone, I'm not too sure about it on Zac, seeing as you're kind of always a little too far from your own teammates, because again, he's not really the best bodyguard, so you're kind of initiating. And the Grasp of the Undying is more for laners. In the jungle, it's kind of lost a little bit there. The bonus health one isn't all that great either, so I'm not really liking it that much. I'm starting to think that maybe on Zac, going full offensive page tree, getting that ability that gives you a dot, might actually be pretty damn good on him. Either way, that's just a thought for another time. Maybe when I play him again, because I definitely will probably play him again, I'll build him more AP-ish. Right now, as you can see, I just got a Dead Man's Plate, and I'm building Thornmail because the only threat in the enemy team is Caitlyn, and I'm just trying not to get shot down by her. Anyways, to catch Vhagar, I get stunned, he flashes, Trundle's all by his lonesome, and I get focused down, and I'm forced to use my ultimate because I thought they might just finish me off there. But when I realized that they didn't, I just flash forward, E them, killed the Vhagar, and then my teammates just kind of collapse on them and start finishing them off. And it's quite beautiful, isn't it? Of course, again, I know we're snowballing, we're super fed, and we're winning, but still, you're still able to see a showcase of Zac's tremendous control of space with his E. Also, it's important to note that I did get invaded, and I was still able to recover, because he's one of those champions that has a really nice chance, in the early game at least, to rubber band. It means if he gets crushed early, he can make a comeback because he's got a lot of awesomeness or like real value in his kit by itself. He doesn't have stats or anything, but again, the way his kit flows, the way his kit allows him to make plays and control a lot of distance and basically become not a threat. Well, again, I have to say, control distance. That's probably the best word to use. Is a lot of value into itself. I mean, a lot of other, let's say Malphite, if he were to be crushed in the early game and then you get your ultimate, your only threat is your ultimate. If without your ultimate, you have even less impact. But with Zac, as long as I can use my E effectively, that's a really strong contribution. It's basically a long-range knockout if you can hit it, right? So, the enemy team is crushed. We dive them, we kill them, and we just go straight out to the inhibitor. Of course, seeing as they've been pretty much defeated by three times their kills, they decide to surrender. Well, right now they'll surrender after we try to kill Vhagar. But they surrender, and the game is pretty much over. So hooray for Zac, and I hope you understand the position that Zac is in. Again, I highly recommend him, and he's very easy to learn, and he's very fun to play.